What's going on, you guys? It's Eli with Common Sense, and I hope you had a fantastic Christmas and holidays. Speaking of holidays, my awesome brother got me this Nabil Crown of Emirates, and I cannot wait to review this one. And my mom got me this Milestone Red Cherry Tom Ford Lost Cherry clone, so cannot wait to review these ones. And let me know in the comments down below if you got any cool fragrances for Christmas, or if you gifted any. But all of that is for another video, but today we're going to be covering a brand new Lattafa Pride release. Now, I just did a review video on two amazing fragrances from La Collection de Antiquities. I talked about the 1886 and the 1910, which were the car and the motorcycle ones. So if you want to check that out and see exactly what it smells like, check out that video up there. We're going to be checking out Lattafa's Art of Arabia 1. Now, there are 3 Art of Arabia fragrances out. I just bought the first one because I really don't feel like buying every single one of them. You know, I spent a lot of money on these reviews, and I gotta show some self-control somewhere. So we're just reviewing this one for today. So what does this smell like? Is it worth it? And should you buy it? Grab yourself a cup of coffee, kick back, relax, and let's start the video. Thank you so much for joining me for today. We're going to be looking at Lattafa's Art of Arabia 1. I purchased this fragrance along with the other Lattafa vintage fragrances from tripletraders.com. If you use my code COMMONSENSE, you can actually save 10% like I did with this video. I know it might be kind of cheating to use my own code to get some discounts, but I think it's okay. You can save yourself a little bit of money and support the channel at the same time. So let's check this out. Boy, that is some strong... Who wouldn't have fight a little bit of Lattafa plastic wrap or Eli from Common Sense. So just like the other Lattafa Pride fragrances that I just reviewed, this one has a nice white matte box on the outside. You have the Lattafa holographic logo up here with the Lattafa Pride logo. You also have another emblem on the top. As you can see from the batch code, this one was manufactured in October of 2023, and apparently it doesn't expire until 2028. So I've got some time to wear this one. So just like the last fragrances, this one comes in a stunning silver box. Now, the other ones were bronze and this one is silver. So I love this kind of finishing on this. Now, this is definitely a fingerprint magnet, as you can see from these lovely fingerprint smudges up here. But if you open it up, that's where the magic is. I feel like I'm opening up an ancient relic right now. Encased in this soft velvety white lining, there is a beautiful matte black bottle. This has a beautiful 3D model of the Burj Khalifa popping out of the fragrance bottle. Now, a lot of the Lattafa vintage fragrances have this design carried out through them where it pops out of the bottle, and to some it may be a little bit gaudy, a little bit strange looking, but I actually think this is one of the better looking ones. A little bit more classy, a little bit sophisticated, and I think I like the look of this one the best. I mean, just look at how stunning that silver looks against the matte black. I think that is so classy. I love that. Let's check out this atomizer. That's actually pretty good. Some of the other Lattafa fragrances, like the $20 ones, the atomizers are a little bit cheap and they skimp out a little bit, but I don't think they skimp out on this one. It's pretty decent. Oh man, that is citrusy. That is lemon. I feel like I legit got a face full of lemon spray. Wow, that is tart and really good. So funny story about this one is I could not find any of the notes anywhere online. I looked everywhere. I looked on Triple Traders where I purchased this one. I actually looked at the back of the box and read the ingredients of the fragrance and did a little research looking at the actual fragrance compounds and the notes that were attributed to those chemicals and compounds. It was a lot of work. But as somebody pointed out on YouTube, if you check the Oud store, you can actually look at the listing picture, and in very, very fine print on the bottom left, you actually have the notes, which I totally missed, even though I looked at that page like 3 or 4 times. Art of Arabia has top notes of bergamot and mint with middle notes of black tea, ginger, and lavender with base notes of ambroxan, olibanum, and cinnamon. So right up top, you get an amazing blast of citrus freshness, mainly that bergamot, and I feel like there's quite a bit of lemon. So looking at some of the ingredients that they used in this, they included limonene. So limonene definitely has a strong lemon citrus heavy kind of quality to it. So that's kind of where I was getting the lemon. There is bergamot in this, but I feel like it's definitely a candied lemon or a candied bergamot. So very tart, very citrusy and zingy up top. That mint also gives it a really nice edge. Now mint, I've said it before, it's sort of a make or break in a fragrance for me. Sometimes if it's in a fragrance, my nose tends to dislike it a little bit, and same thing with black tea. So mint tea, those are not my favorite notes, but I think here it's done absolutely well, and I think the ginger also gives it quite a bit of an effervescent energy. So it's a little bit sporty, but at the same time it's a little bit citrusy, it's soapy, it's floral, and it's definitely something that you can pull off in the spring and the summertime, and definitely around the office. Yeah, that opening is so powerful. It's definitely familiar, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of a lemon rind or a grapefruit, just a very citrusy, rindy kind of opening, maybe from that ginger. But I think as it dries down, it sort of reminds me a little bit of Bulgari's Tiger, and also a Zara fragrance. Kind of reminds me of Zara's Sunrise on the Red Sand Dunes. So it's definitely a vetiver, tea, and mint kind of heavy fragrance, but I think the inclusion of lavender in here, it's also really interesting. I feel like there's also a little bit of tobacco blossom or neroli in here, so it's a little bit waxy, it's a little bit floral, and it has a little bit of that white floral touch that reminds me of the springtime. So definitely similar to something like Versace the Dreamer, so that beautiful white floral with a little bit of that tobacco blossom and lavender. Super nice. I feel like I also get a little bit of an herbal facet to this when it dries down, especially from the olibanum and the lavender. So I think there's also a little bit of unlisted rosemary or something slightly herbaceous and green in here, and I think it gives it a little bit of a more vegetal edge, but I think it smells really, really interesting. It definitely complements those really energetic notes, especially in the top. As this dries down on my skin, I think more and more this is going to be a summer and a spring beast, especially because the weather that I've been wearing this in right now, it's winter, so it's really cold outside, but I think as the weather changes and as it gets hotter outside, it's going to react differently with your skin. And I think it's going to definitely perform a little bit different, if not even better. I get around 14 to 16 hours of longevity, so it's been going crazy strong, and I've been smelling it wafting up to my nose all day as I've been working from home. I still got heavy projection about 6 to 7 hours after I sprayed it, so I kept smelling it coming up to my nose, and I was surprised because I was thinking, when is this thing gonna die down? As this dries down, I keep getting the image of when I go swimming. So it's definitely a very aquatic fragrance. That ambroxan is very strong, and it's very amber and musky heavy. So I get a little bit of that sea salt and very aromatic aftertouch that you get kind of floating into your nostrils as you smell it. So this almost gives me the same effect as when I wear Versace Man Eau Fraiche. That is one of my favorite all-time summer fragrances, but I feel like when I wear this and I go swimming and it dies off and you get a little bit of that fruity, kind of citrusy star fruit mixed with that musk, I think that's almost what I get with the dry down on this one. So it reminds me a little bit of that one. So if you love that very strong, citrusy, fresh blast of ambroxan and amber, I think you're gonna love this one. Now, the inclusion of frankincense does give it a little bit of a warmth, a little bit of a body, so it does kind of remind me of a warm, soapy kind of dry down, but at the same time, it's still very bright from that ambroxan, the black tea, and the lavender. So the lavender, olibanum, and the cinnamon definitely keep it warm, but it still does so smelling very citrusy and very mass-pleasing. But in reality, I feel like this one might be one of their original creations. So I know Lattafa Joie is an original. It's not really a spin-off of anything, it's just their own kind of creation, and they could be doing something like that, or just taking a little bit of inspiration from some of these soapy spring freshies and making something ultra pleasing like this. I think this is perfect for anybody working in an office environment. Like I said before, I think this is going to be fresh, it's clean, it's inoffensive, and I think anybody can really pull this off. And I think the ladies can definitely pull this off too, because it's ginger heavy, it's got the black tea, it's got a little bit of that bergamot and mint, keeping it a little bit sweet, a little bit fruity. But I think this is an all-around great fragrance to have in your collection, and I can't believe that this is from Lattafa. This honestly smells like it could be at least twice the price. I think I paid 45 or 50 bucks for this, and I would definitely pay more than that for this. You are getting an amazing value and projection and longevity and just quality of a fragrance for this $50 price tag. So though it is maybe twice the price of the other Lattafa fragrances you're used to purchasing, I think it's definitely worth it to maybe save and not buy as many fragrances and do quality over quantity, because these ones are 100% worth it. Man, love this stuff. And that one is Lattafa's Art of Arabia 1. And that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please consider liking and subscribing if you like fragrance-related content, because I got big plans for the 2024 year. I'm going to be doing a ton of giveaways, and it's going to be awesome. So we're already really close to 5K, so if you consider subscribing, that would be awesome, and it would make my day. And to those who are the regulars, who are always commenting, I love you guys, and I love interacting with you. That does it. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Eli with Common Sense, and until the next time, bye-bye. You guys don't know this, but there's about a foot of space behind the camera. So when I walk off the screen, I'm literally just awkwardly standing by the camera in like a 1 foot corner.